Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in the Tier 8 Swedish Premium Medium tank. It is the Strv 81, or if you decided to get it in the fancy Sabaton skin version, it is the Primo Victoria. Now, I hope you've had a lovely weekend, whatever you have been up to. I went camping with my brother and a couple of friends, and I can tell you what, it's pretty cold outside. Being British, of course, I know if you're probably Scandinavian or Canadian even, then you guys are probably used to cold weather the whole year round. I think as soon as it starts to get, you know, about 5 to 10 degrees in the UK, people start to freak out. Now, watch out, if you're in America, you're going to have to probably adjust that. I'm still working in Celsius, I guess. Too close to Europe, right, guys? So I had a great time, but you know what? I think it's safer to stay inside and a lot warmer to play World of Tanks. Well, not so fun to play World of Tanks when you get penetrations like that hitting the only weak point on your turret, but I guess I'm lucky to be able to bounce the T95 there. Now, if you're wondering what this vehicle is all about and you haven't watched my preview of the tank, it's pretty much just a Centurion. And with 9.20.1 just released on Wednesday last week, all of the Centurions have had their turret armor buffed. But the Primo Victoria was around in update 920, so you could see what a Centurion was going to be like a few weeks ahead, or even a month or so ahead, with this vehicle. Now, do I like this tank? Oh, I just don't know. Sure, it's faithful, it's dependable, it's got great penetration on its stand rounds, 226mm of APCR penetration. It's got okay aim time. It's got pretty darn good accuracy. To be exact, the accuracy is, oh god, I can't find it. Oh gosh, it's 0.33. That's not too shabby. And good dispersion values. So you can be very dependable with this British 20-pounder gun, or Swedish 20-pounder gun, whichever way you want to be looking at it. But this vehicle still frustrates me because while it does have a decent turret and a fairly dependable gun, there's just nothing else that's truly spectacular about the vehicle. And yeah, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, Joachim. I'm sorry for offending your vehicle there with that special voice acting. The lead singer of Sabaton did do the commander role of this vehicle, which is pretty darn cool. Got to see them at Gamescom this year. It was a lot of fun. I didn't really fanboy out and go up and speak to them. I wish I had now. I wish I'd had that experience. But from all the people who I know, some of my friends who did go and say hi to them, apparently they're pretty sound blokes, not frustrated princesses. So maybe many of us are playing World of Tanks a little too long now. Anyway, we shut down the Centurion there, but he was using the Comet's gun. He had a stock turret, so poor guy. He's not quite up to the full capabilities of the Centurion / the Primo Victoria, whichever way you want to look at it. But I always remember from a video that's called The Greatest Carry in World of Tanks on my channel, where I believe it was Razor. I hope I haven't forgotten that name. Inside his WZ-111-5A made such good work of a dead WZ-111-14. And then I was thinking, in this situation, it dawned on me, if there's a dead tank of the same type of you can pretty much just go hull down on it as you come round the corner. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're dominating the hill on mines. And you see that I'm going backwards and forwards from fighting in the center, going and supporting the east. And that's really the dream scenario here. And the enemies just are they're obviously not caring about me. They're probably too worried about the T57 Heavy that's in front of them. Now that T95, after I've put a couple of rounds into him, might want to turn around and start to engage me. There he is. There he comes. So I just want to try and squeeze one more out. Back off. Don't want to get hit by that 155mm American main armament. And yeah, I just decide, what's the point now? It's just too risky. Or maybe it's not. Oh, I'm a bit greedy here. Look, I'm seeing the Borsig. I can maybe sneak a shot into the Borsig before the T95 can get me. And now I feel like I've pushed my luck too far. Don't want that T95 to hit me. Time to go off. And one thing that I've been noticing, at least from this replay and recently in World of Tanks, is if you take your time, eventually the enemies are going to forget about you. They'll get bored. They'll go on to shoot something else, and when they do, you can go back. So if you feel like the enemies are just going to tunnel vision, ignore everything else, and just focus you, maybe because you've shot them a few times, and quite rightly so, go off, do something else if you can, and then come back, and then usually the situation will have changed. Although, you know, when you're starting to bait around with one of the most dangerous vehicles frontally, like the T95, I don't think the situation changes all that much. Stupid Tiger there comes around the corner to try and shoot me, and that allows a T57 Heavy to get the easiest kill, I think, in the game. So I'm just looking to see where the T95 is facing, and through the smoke and the flames there, we see that the T95 is in fact facing up on the hill. Nope. See, I even shake my my monitor. I don't shake my monitor. Shake my mouse back and forth there a little bit. It's almost to agree that that is not a good idea to go around and try and face that tank. But instead, I can use the 10 degrees of gun depression this vehicle has to pierce around through the tier 10 Soviet light tank, that T-100, who we forced off the hill earlier. Good result there. If you manage to dominate the top of mines, you really can have a pivotal role in the outcome of the battle. It's a little unfair in a way, Mines, because I feel that the northern spawn... Oh, what's that T-10 thinking? Well, maybe he wasn't thinking. Maybe that was the problem. It's a little unfair, Mines, in a way, because do you see how the entrance isn't quite towards the center, and the northern team spawns around here, and the southern team spawns all the way up here. So it takes the southern team a lot longer to be able to reach there than the northern team will. But of course, when it was a T-100 LT on the enemy team, it doesn't really matter too much. So you might have noticed that I decided to load one high explosive round to go after the Waffenträger auf Panzervier. That tier 9 German turreted tank destroyer isn't too well now. And I'm trying to avoid firing any premium rounds in this matchup because I thought 226 would be sufficient. I fire one there through the side of the hull. Bad plan, should have shot the turret. And then I fire one to try and track the tank. But as we can see, actually that wasn't my tracking, that was somebody else. And with the low alpha damage on this gun, one of the downsides to playing the Centurion, or the Primo Victoria, is that at 230 alpha, you're going to have to shoot people a hell of a lot to be able to take them out. And I've got to be very careful here because I'm clearly still spotted from the E100. Always be thinking about that. The T95 is most likely not an idiot and he's going to be facing up towards me. And if I have to side scrape around the corner, well, the 50.8 millimeters of side armor is going to get overmatched by his 155 millimeter caliber gun. So where's that T95? Is he there? Oh, I decided I'm going to side scrape anyway. That is risky. The side of the Centurion, not enough to hold up to that vehicle. Oh, RNGO, I love you so. Even with the 2.3 seconds aim time and the 0.33 accuracy on this tank, we still miss the side of that bar. You might be wondering why shoot above the tracks there. It's because the tracks on the T95 are very thick indeed. And if you shoot the front, then you're never going to enter the hull because the tracks go on past the front of the hull. So if you want to try and track the tank at the front, you're going to have to do so without actually causing damage. So I believe that I'm loading premium rounds now for the first time this game, trying to penetrate the front of the E100. 258 millimeters of penetration, doesn't seem to be able to do so. I'm being very chancy here. Another bounce. Gosh, these premium rounds, they're not cheap. 680 ammunition cost on the standard rounds and 4,400 on the premium rounds. So I just wasted pretty much 13,500 credits there. Not great when you're trying to save up to be able to buy some tier 10 light tanks. The Rheinmetall Panzerwagen is firmly within my grasp, and I think I'm going to try and get it maybe upcoming this week. And you know what, I'll play it through a few times, experience what that 320 Alpha's like, and get back to you. Now, at the end of the game here, it's just a case of cleaning up and trying to maximize our profit. But unfortunately for us, we don't quite manage to kill the opposing tier 8 Swedish premium tank destroyer. So a solid round here for the Primo Victoria, and it really shows you why sometimes it is worth taking the risk to be able to get on top of the hill on mines. You can try and dominate this location from here. You can get shots across down here and shots across down there, depending on where your opponents will be. You can use these bushes to spot deep and even manage to capture self-propelled guns that pop round the corners to try and get shots on you. And by using the bush locations over here, you can also get vision out deep on your opponents, and even some opportunities from here to get cross shots on anyone who pulls a little too far back. Which means that if you see the opportunity and it's not too much of a risk, it is worth chancing to take the hill on mines, because the majority of times you're going to have a very big impact for your team. In fact, some of my largest games in vehicles like the Stridsvagn 74, sorry, this is the 81, have come with vehicles like this with amazing gun depression, because you just work those ridges like a boss. So not a bad round here for the Primo Victoria. We pick up an Oskins medal. That's for destroying at least 3 enemy tanks or tank destroyers with a medium tank that are at least 1 tier higher than you. A Confederate medal, the support medal of World of Tanks, for damaging at least 6 opponents that were subsequently killed by your allies. And bizarrely enough, a steel wall for blocking 2,000 570 damage. Really shows you what you can do with the turret of this tank, but also the turret of the Centurion, because they're now identical. And that's definitely something to take into account if you're planning on going up the British medium tank line. Now we make a whopping amount of credits here. 163,000 credits received, a bonus of 50%, 81,000 for using a 50% credit booster. That's 245,000, 200k profit after we resupply the ammunition and the auto repair for the vehicle. Money, money, money indeed. And I'm pretty chuffed with 5,000 damage in the worst possible matchmaking for this vehicle. But you know what? +2 matchmaking is kind of becoming the normal for your tier 8 tanks now, right guys? The T57 Heavy able to do a little bit more than me, so he gets the high caliber, but 1,843 experience. I guess that's because we were shooting tanks that were higher tier than us rather than equal or lower tier like the T57 Heavy. So all in all, do I think the Primo Victoria is the best tier 8 premium medium tank? No. But is it one of the most fun ones? Yeah, it kind of is. Running around, bouncing some shots, and have Joachim screaming, "Are you kidding me?" is actually quite funny. And now that Wargaming have buffed the Centurion, I think that this is a premium tank done well. An interesting collaboration. It's practically identical to a regular vehicle, the Centurion, and due to that it's not overpowered, and yeah, it's just a novel tank. More like this, please, Wargaming. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're watching this at the end of the weekend on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, seeing how it's a brand new patch and the entirety of the British turreted tank destroyers were just rebalanced, I'm going to be making my way up towards the FV4005 Stage 2. And if you've never been to one of my Tech Tree showcases before, they're basically like miniature tank reviews starting at tier 1 and working my way up towards tier 10, so you can see if it's a line that you're interested in, or if you've already got the vehicles, maybe pick up a few tips and tricks. And the specific interest this week is the vehicles have just been buffed, and so the line is more relevant than ever. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.